Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to teach you guys how to master your movement in CS2. This video is more geared towards people that already know how to BHOP and air strafe and just want to progress as a movement player in this game rather than just sticking to one thing. If you're clicking on this video and you don't know how to BHOP or air strafe, there's a lot of other content on YouTube right now teaching you guys the fundamentals of just basic movement in this game, and I also plan on doing a more beginner-friendly guide in the future. But I'm going to teach you guys some things to build off of and to progress as a movement player as a whole. What I'm going to teach you guys about today is the Jumpbug, and a Jumpbug is actually very useful, and it stems from a different bug that was found in the game called the crouch bug. And the crouch bug is basically as simple as dropping off of a high surface. So silo is like a perfect example. You're super high up, and then you crouch, and then just before you hit the ground, or just as you're hitting the ground, you let go of crouch. And you know it works because you'll get like no audio on your fall, and you won't take any fall damage. So that's kind of where the basis of a jump bug comes from. So basically, a jump bug is as simple as jumping, crouching while you're in the air, and then as soon as you're about to land while crouched, you basically want to trade off hitting your BHOP, your next hop, and uncrouching. So it would kind of look like this: jump, crouch, let go, and jump again. And then if you hit it successfully, you'll kind of spring up in the air like that. So that was a successful one, and you can actually audio wise, you can actually hear that I got no audio there. So a thing to note about this is that you want to crouch at the end of it, and you'll get a little bit of extra height from it. Another side note would be, for some reason, if you're going for vanilla jump bugs, so if you're not using like a bind for it, you can actually get a variable height. So sometimes your jump bug will be higher than other times, which doesn't make any sense, but it is what it is, and we just gotta live with it, you know? So with a bind, it really helps you kind of get a more consistent one, but I like to do them vanilla because it just kind of feels more like engaging, and it also just builds good muscle memory to become, really good. So practical uses for a jump bug would be something kind of like this. So if I was running, I just fell off right there. If I was running and I jumped and crouched, I would be able to gap up on top of this ledge here. But if I try to B-hop and crouched, I would not be able to, because after one B-hop, your jump height actually lowers. So with a jump bug, you'd actually be able to B-hop into the height high enough to get up on top of here. Of course, if you crouched at the end of it, but yeah, you'd be able to gap the height of this. Same goes for, say, going from here to up on top of the little pipe here that goes up on top of silo. And instead of going for this live, I'm just going to show you a successful jump bug utilizing this area right here. Oh wow, I didn't even need to cut that. It was first try. There you go. That's a jump bug for you. I apologize in this video if you guys hear my cat purring. It's sitting on my lap right now as I'm recording this, so I just realized that my mic actually might pick up on that. But I'm going to teach you guys about long jumps now. So basically, a long jump is as simple as it sounds. It's a long jump, and things that you're going to need to be kind of good at it is multi-strafing, and you need to understand dead strafe. So dead strafe is basically the period of time in your strafe where strafing is less useful than it would be in other points of your jump, and it's going to be like at the beginning. Anytime before you reach 265 units per second is your dead strafe timing, and then after that you can go ham with multi-strafe. So basically, I have a bind for long jumps, and long jumps can be done vanilla, but they're more difficult, and I don't know why, but all I have to do is think that it's probably something to do with subticks. So I'm just gonna use a bind here, and if you want the bind, I'll post it below. And if you don't have a movement config, I do recommend having one in this game. It just helps with consistency. But basically, to do a long jump, you want to go for a jump, and you just want to crouch at the same time that you jump, and just very briefly. Like, you don't want to crouch for a long time, but you want to crouch pretty much instantaneously with your jump, and it will give you a long jump. So those were my attempts vanilla, and if I use my bind here, you can see that it was pretty much Easy as pie. So just like the jump bug, you're going to want to crouch at the end of it. It's going to give you a little bit extra distance rather than height this time, and it will allow you to get on top of things like, say, this gap right here. And also, this is doable. I don't think I'm going to get this one first try, but you never know. I'll show you guys what it looks like successfully right now. There you go. Just quick little 2 strafes and a crouch, and you get on top of that. When it comes to the actual strafing aspect of it, you kind of just want to build from the ground up. You want to do like maybe start with 2, and then maybe start going into like 3, and then you can start building up more and more strafes until you're comfortable, and you can actually go into like different KZ servers and stuff and actually see the amount of distance you're getting with each long jump. Alright, so next up I'm going to teach you guys how to edge bug, and edge bugging is very simple in essence, but it can be really hard to pull off because you have to have a really good understanding of spacing and basically the surfaces that you're on. So an edge bug can be done really on pretty much any ledge in the game. It can't be like a rounded edge, kind of like these on top of mini, because you're going to be able to do something kind of like this. You're going to be able to surf, and I actually just hit an edge bug on that corner right there. And there's also this surf right here, and that's like a rounded corner, like you wouldn't be able to edge bug on those. But anything that's like a drop off, you're going to be able to edge bug on. And basically, the way an edge bug works is if you get on the side of a ledge, at the very end of a ledge, between one tick and another one, while moving, the game is just going to cause you to slide. It's not going to go like, oh, ledge, you're on top of the ledge, now you're off. It's just going to kind of like give you this little ramp off of it, and it can be really cool to hit. Like right there, that's one. It's a very classic one. You've probably seen that one. And it does useful things like negates fall damage, and it can keep your momentum. So if I tried like B-hopping off of something like high up, you actually inherently lose momentum going from a really high up spot down below. And an edge bug can actually cause you to keep your momentum. So if I was to like keep B-hopping off this, I keep my momentum from up on top of there. So this one in specific is what they would call a quote-unquote lineup edge bug, even though it's not really a lineup. It's really just pressing an input at a certain time. For this one, you just press D here, like up against that surf, and it's going to push you off the edge bug. But an edge bug is really just as simple as trying to space yourself at the very ledge of something. So like, you know, you go for a B-hop, and then you try and basically make it so that your character's about to be hanging off like at the very last pixel of an item, or sorry, not an item, an object, and your character will slide off. Now, these things don't need to be just on high-end ledges like this. You can also do them off curves, like I hit off the surf there, and they're just everywhere. You don't need to do any inputs to actually hit the edge bug itself. It's all about just jumping or falling into it and just sliding off like that. And that's Edgebugs for you. Now, CSGO used to have something called pixel surfing, and if I was to consider these pixel surfs, I'd feel like it's a little bit insulting, but other people just call them wall slips, and I like the term pixel surfing better. But it seems a lot more accessible, this tech is, than it was in Counterstrike Go, as it was really hard and it required like a lot of setup to get into a pixel surf, whereas in this game, I genuinely think it's just bad clip brushing that's allowing you to do all this stuff. But basically, what a pixel surf is it's just this. You just kind of slide along a surface. It's like surfing, but instead you're just kind of doing it on random objects. Like, for example, this right here on NCT. And the way that I do this is kind of funky because there's multiple ways to do it. So on Nuke, I'm here at CT Rail, and I'm going to show you guys a couple more. If you B-hop into this and hold W and D, you're actually able to stick onto this surface here. And other times, and this is why I say it's a little bit funky, is because other surfs require you to actually hit no keys and require like a certain like setup, like being able to just like run parallel with something, and then it will allow you to get into a surf. But for the most part, I find that holding W and D, or at least pressing them to get into it, is going to allow you to get into a Pixelsurf. So that's one right there, and this one's actually a great one to practice on because it's a very just long and simple one, and the only parameters to getting into it is a BHOP. So for this one in specific, you got to BHOP into it, because if I tried jumping into it, as you can see, I actually just clip up on top of this thing. But for one like this here on like a CT roof, you'd be able to just jump into this box and hold W and D, and you're gonna slide. Same with this one right here. You can just jump, and I actually like crouching into this one, but W and D, and you're gonna be able to clip into this wall here for some reason. Same goes for right here. You can just clip in like that, and there's some down here on B, like up against this rail here. Sorry, that was a really bad example of this one. Some kind of like this, and then there's one actually on the other side right here where you just hold W and D. I don't know what the hell happened there. It's weird. But you can just kind of fall down. It's like a weird staircase. And yeah, so that's pixel surfing. Alright, I'm not really going to consider this movement tech, but I'm going to show it off because it is movement based, and it allows you to do some really cool things. So basically, back in the beta of CS2, there were some weird bugs and stuff in the game that allowed you to teleport on top of the map, or climb up walls, and the same thing is kind of present here on Nuke, and there's a couple on other maps that just aren't as significant, but I'm sure with enough people looking for these, I'm sure some more of these crazy spots are going to be found. So this fence here is the most consistent for me for this thing that I'm about to show you guys, and the way that it works is I'm just going to climb all the way up there, and you need to line it up. So the way I line it up is I look at this little crack in the pavement and these like stained kind of darker rocks right here, and I just crouch looking at the fence, and then I just start jumping and I tap W, and when I tap W, there's a chance I'm going to get stuck in the gate. So as you can see, my character is like kind of floating above the ground here, but I can't jump any higher, which means that I've actually failed. But you kind of see where I'm getting at here. You can basically jump into this fence and clip into the fence, and then just spam jump, let go of W, you just tap it once, and then you're able to climb up on top of really high spots like this. Now, the reason that this is cool is because you're actually able to head boost on here. So like, say someone run boosted from silo, or they can actually be on top of red and jump onto your head, and you both can just boot up right up to the top of the barrier here, because as you can see, I can't go any higher. There's a barrier above me, and you can just kind of chill, and you got 100% accuracy here. Like I can shoot someone here coming out, whatever. And you can also, you know, do some weird stuff like that. Like there's a surf there, and there's some clippings here. And my buddy actually hit the same thing right here, where he fell off and slid off, and it looked really damn cool to hit something like that. But that is in the game, so I thought I'd show that to you guys as well. Sometimes in my videos, I sideways B-hop, and I'm just going to throw this in here really quickly because I know that for some people it's really hard to grasp how to sideways B-hop, and I think it's actually really simple. So basically, when you B-hop, you're using W, you let go, you start using D and A, and you're going back and forth, you're doing that little snake maneuver, and you just basically take the keys that you're using and you rotate them. So if I was using W to move forward and I wanted to start getting forward momentum going sideways, I'd use A. So I'm moving to my left, I use A. To go to my right, I use D. So if A is my W, then W becomes my D, and S becomes my A, basically. So your S becomes your left, and W becomes your right if you're moving to the left. So your A is W, and then your W is right, your W is D, and your S is left, and A. So if I'm moving to my left, use W to go to the right, and A to go to your left. And the hardest part is really just understanding spacing, and it does feel really weird to move your mouse almost as if you're just like panning and still getting the same kind of trajectory you would while moving forward. And then if you were to reverse it, or sorry, not reverse, go the other way, aka use D as your W, you would just flip it around. So W becomes your A and S becomes your D. So it would be S to the right, W to the left, if you're using D, and then if you're using A, it's W to the right and S to the left. And that's how you sideways BHOP. It's pretty simple. I know that it's kind of a concept that's a little bit hard to grasp, but once you kind of get it down, it's super simple. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I kind of want to keep it shorter and not really go into as much detail. But I hope, you know, people learn some things, and I hope to see you guys in another video. Peace.